Me and my friend were talking a while back. We had like a very nice conversation about how we both related to experiencing like a phase of life where we felt like we were men on a mission. Like being so insanely obsessed with achieving our goals, waking up thinking about our goals, not being able to sleep because all we're thinking about is our goals. And it was that phase of life that I remember that feels so insanely satisfying. It just feels so aligned with how we're supposed to be as men. And it's like, how do we tap into that purposely? How do we enter that phase of life where we're just on top of our game, just locked in to the point where we can't sleep because all we're thinking about is our goals, our mission, accomplishing things, making progress, growing. And it's like we both had this discussion of like ideas of how we both kind of did our own research, spent some time learning, reverse engineering how we did it, how to like purposefully enter that phase of life. And genuinely, it's very hard to purposely enter it. And I'm like, the way I did it was firstly, it came from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I dopamine detoxed, I sin detoxed. And just to clarify, dopamine detoxing is staying away from all the bad habits to rewire your brain. And I also realized I did a sin detox, which is where I stayed away from the haram habits to kind of like cure my heart, which Islam emphasizes a lot about the heart. The same way the West emphasizes the importance of dopamine, Islam emphasizes the importance of the heart. So dopamine detox, sin detox, and after like 30 days, that's when something clicked. Like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala led me to something like changing on the inside. And a few months after that, I was like the most productive I have ever been, ever. Like it's been almost 3 years after I've dopamine detoxed and sin detoxed. And because of that moment, like because of the decision to detox, I'm still reaping the benefits of that decision. Like that completely changed the trajectory of my life. I'm not trying to convince you to dopamine detox or whatever, even though I highly recommend it. And if you can tap into it, like if I can teach you how to tap into it once I learn this, like it is life changing because it's those few months of being like a man on a mission. It's those few months after I detoxed that up until now, like I consider myself to be a very productive person. The person I am now is very productive, alhamdulillah. But the person I was a few months after I detoxed, nothing compares to how productive I was in that phase of life. Nothing compares to that phase. Nothing compares to the level of productivity that I had, the level of like feeling insanely masculine, insanely aligned. Everything just felt right. Like for months. Can you imagine? For months, I was waking up thinking about my goals and not being able to go to sleep because of thinking about my goals. And while I was awake, all I could think about was conquering my goals. It was just insane, man. Insane. I believe that time was like peak performance, peak productivity. I was in the flow. Talk about being in a peak productive flow. Like every day I was just on it. Like I feel like right now the current level of productivity that I have, that level was 10. That phase of life was 10 out of 10. The out of 10 right now, I'd say my productivity levels are a solid a solid 7. That's why I'm saying I need that extra edge to just like it would take me to a whole nother level. And maybe you feel like your level's a 3 out of 10 or a 4 out of 10 or a 1 out of 10. Whatever it is, bro. I do have a free school community where you can join other Muslim men just like you. We can genuinely start leveling up your productivity. Absolutely for free. You don't have to join it, but if you want to, whenever you're ready, links in the description below. And if I can get you to at least get that glimpse of what it feels like to be a man on a mission, what it feels like to conquer your goals, to like just be so hyper aware of the absolute top priority for you and not being able to go to sleep until you achieve it, that would be pretty insane. Do not buy into your emotions and justify with logic. Assalamu alaikum.